Hello everyone and welcome to Mathematics, where this channel is able to help you to build up your habit in completing a question a day in additional mathematics. Right, so this video we will look at 2022 Selangor paper 1 question 6, and it's from Form 4 chapter 1 functions. Right, so before we go into this question, y'all can pause this video and try it out yourself first. So let's go to the first step, which is to highlight some important points. So this question, we will highlight this part. So what does this k mean? So this k means if i's gonna sub into this function here, this function will become undefined. Undefined example, 2 over 0. As you know, 2 over 0 doesn't give any meaning. So this k causes the function to be undefined. Right, so let's go to A1. And we go to step number 2, which is to identify the problem. So the problem here is to find the value of k. Step number 3, which is to figure out this. So the only case where this function becomes undefined is denominator becomes 0. So actually we can use this denominator here to be equal to 0, and we sub k inside it. So we will write 3 minus k equals to 0. So k equals to 3. Let's go to part 2. So this question requires us to find the original version of h. Okay? But it is given the inverse function only. So now we need to do is from inverse we need to transform it to original. So what is the solution? So let's go to step number 3. So here I would like to introduce a 3-step method to transform inverse to original. But before that, we need to let something first. Right? So here we will let y equals to the function given, h inverse, and this thing. So where does this come from? It's actually from the original one. So how do you get it? It's actually quite easy. This function here, I just move it to the left side to get the second leg. Okay, so this is like the ones you see in your trigonometry, like tan, sine, or cos, right? So this thing, I also can move it to the other side, and it is the same concept. So let's go to step number 1, which is to use our first let. Given the function here is h inverse equals to 2 over 3 minus x. So this is quite easy. We just need to change the h inverse to y. Step number 2, make x as your subject. Meaning, your x needs to be on the left side only. The rest of the things, you have to move it to the other side. Okay, so you can see the x is the only thing on the left side. So step number 3, which is to use the second let, the second one. h of y is equal to x. But this isn't the answer. So if you see the question, it needs h of x. The object here is x, but the object we have now is y. So we need to change this y into x. 3 minus 2 over x. Okay, as you can see, all the y's are changed to x. So let's move on to part B. So let's highlight some important points first, which is our step number 1. So we will highlight these three functions here. So as you may notice, f and g inverse are single functions, but this last function is combined from the first two. Okay, it's combined from the first two. So this kind of combined functions, we call it as composite. So let's go to step number 2, which is to identify the problem. So problem here is me to find a and b, which is from function f. So how do we find a and b? So let's go to step number 3. So here we can actually form our own fg inverse function, since this question gives these two functions here. So we can just form our own, and then to compare it with the one given here. Now we need to find this composite function. So for these kind of functions, we need to look at the ones inside first instead of outside, right? Function is always looked at the function inside. So we need to change g inverse. So how do we change it? It's actually quite simple. You just need to sub the g inverse inside here. So this x plus 5 over 2 becomes the new object of f. So what does this mean is, if your object is x, your image here would have x. Okay, so you can treat this x as a triangle. Okay, as a triangle. So if your new triangle is x plus 5 over 2, then you just have to change the triangles here. So once I change this, it will become a times x plus 5 over 2 plus b. As you can see, I only changed the things which have a triangle. So now with this, I can just simplify it. Now we have our own composite function. We can compare it with the one given. Okay, so how do we compare this? Actually, we just need to figure out which value has the x, which value does not have the x. So you can see here, the left side there is 1 value has x, right side also has. So you can just compare it. A over 2 equals to 3, which is 6. And those values without x, we can also compare it. So this one and this. Also b is negative 11. Right, so we have completed this question. And also the take home point for this video is to able to understand how to change from original function to inverse or vice versa. Right, so I have prepared this summary here. So basically is from original to inverse or inverse to original, we need to first let something. So we need to let y equals to the function given. Okay. There will be always one function given. So you have to identify that and let it as y. And the next step would be to inverse it. Right, so here, inverse meaning from this thing, you have to move it to the left side to get your second step. Right, so step 1, step 2, step 3 will be the ones I demonstrated previously, and always make sure in the last step you need to change all your y's into x to fulfill the question's requirement. And also, if you are very curious on how this question is being marked, you can refer to the link below in this video. Okay, so thank you all for watching this video. If you feel that this video has helped you, make sure you to like, subscribe and share it to your friends and classmates. Okay, I will see you all very soon in the next video. Thank you.